Individuation and non-duality. In order to be accurate on this subject, because it's so dearly the essence of the nature of reality, we have to be very precise with what we say. And in order to understand the essence of this subject, one has to have turned inward for quite a while, quite intensively, in order to get it. And so, because of that, we're going to start at a pretty advanced stage of understanding this. So, one of the most fundamental ways to begin the exploration of the subject is to take it from the essence of infinity. So, when you have a boundless infinitude of all possibilities that are being explored, what you get is you get a manifestation as a universe that has all of these Earths orbiting stars with different vehicles of sentience that then undergo a process of exploration or play. And so now you're starting to get a little bit of the idea of that individuation within the non-duality. There's all of these vehicles of sentience within this cosmic storm, this processing system called life. So, the way that infinity expresses itself can be thought of as individuation in non-duality. Infinity has to use the process of individuation in non-duality in order for it to create a mechanism of exploration, a mechanism of play. So bathe in this understanding more and more. Sort of relax yourself into this understanding. Okay, my nature is an absolute infinity that is completely boundless, with no limits, that is eternally exploring all possibility. And the mechanism, the physics that me as absolute infinity uses to explore eternally this infinite possibility space is universes, is individuation within those universes that then plays with itself when these two individuations come and talk to each other. It is that one infinite intelligence that is exploring with itself through these individuations. The more that the individuation decentralizes itself into the cosmic storm, the more it understands the essence of non-duality, the more that it understands the very centerless nature that is the cosmic storm. So the more that the individuation decentralizes itself, And typically that comes from the release of all of the subconscious conditioning that is built up in the individual over the span of decades. When the individual turns inward and begins shining the light of awareness on all of those little subconscious packets of conditioning in its neural architecture, and it begins dissolving and liberating itself from needing to be seen and needing to be validated and needing to be worthy, from the need to pursue all of these external worldly pleasures incessantly just to figure out the very emptiness of them, that creates a decentralization of the individuation to the point where it begins identifying itself as infinity, as life itself, as the cosmic storm. So then when it speaks to another individuation, it is no longer speaking to a separate entity, but it is speaking to infinity itself. It's speaking to itself. It's non-duality speaking to itself via two individuations. You need the 8 billion individuations on this planet in order for that very non-dual cosmic storm to be able to take on all of these different perspectives and all of these different experiences in order for it to play with itself. So decentralize the shit out of the individual until the point where it begins identifying itself as life itself, as the cosmos itself, which takes on this very centerless non-dual nature. But then at the same time, it is able to also have the beauty of the individuated perspective simultaneously. So you go inward all the way to empty yourself of all of these conditioned layers of identity, merge with the non-dual nature at the core of our essence, and then you're able to include the individuation, your unique costume, your unique performance on the eternal stage that is infinity. That's the trick. And this has been taught by Nisargadatta Maharaj and many of the other incredible mystics, that you have to go through a process of neti, which is not this, not that. You have to create this negation first. You have to negate all of the subconscious programming and conditioning and negate your identity as even a body itself, for you to be able to recognize the saliency or the poignancy or how paramount it is for you to be the nature of infinite possibility itself. It's so formless and indescribable for you to identify yourself as infinity itself. And then, only then, can you properly include as the second step. So you negate first to go all the way inward, and then you include in the second step all of the beauty of your costume, all of the beauty of what you're wearing in the performance on the eternal stage. And that's how you get this individuation and non-duality. It has to be done this way. It's a physics. It's a mechanism of infinity. It has to be done this way. When you tap into the very fractal-like nature of the diamond that we are, you see that the universe, when viewed as a fractal diamond, it has all of these unique individuations that are not separate from each other. So you view it more and more as all of these unique individuations across the entire universe, across all of the planets and all of the star systems. All of them are diamond in nature. All of them are, as it is, absolute perfection. And yet at the same time, all of those unique individuations are undergoing a process of perfecting, because 10 years ago, where this individuation was a much more egoic, separate, contracted identity. And today, it is way more liberated, way more in tune with its true nature. And so there has been some sort of an evolutionary process. There has been some sort of a perfecting process at the same time that it has been absolute perfection the entire time. And that is true simultaneity. Can you simultaneously be the absolute non-dual cosmic storm that is centerless, completely decentralized from your individual identity, and yet simultaneously, when somebody asks you, hey, Atlas, where were you born? Can you still be able to retrieve from your memory banks of this experience in this specific creation where you were born? Yes, of course you can. And that's the nature of being able to retrieve some sort of information about your unique expression as an individuation. But the game is to not become attached to those networks of memory, to all of that conditioning, to all of what's buried in the subconscious, but to liberate yourself from it, to dissolve it to the degree of which you're so unbelievably free. You've turned all the way inward until you've merged with this non-dual nature, and then you've included all of the unique aspects to your individuation that you can access as you need, but you're not a slave to it. Again, it's a fundamental physics, a mechanism of our true infinitude, of that non-dual nature as one infinite creator, one infinite intelligence, endlessly exploring all possibility, to use individuation. It has to use individuation. It has to. You have to understand that. It has to use individuation. There's no other way. You have to fractal yourself out self-similarly as all of these unique costumes in order for you to play with yourself. In order to play with yourself, you have to fractal yourself as all of these self-similar costumes that are then talking and playing with itself as a decentralized cosmic storm that is centerless in non-dual nature. So that's the true simultaneity. You know you are, in essence, infinite possibility. Your truest essence is pure potentiality, infinite possibility, which then is manifested as these beautiful explorative universes that use the mechanism of individuation in order to play with itself. For that one intelligence to play with itself through the fractaled, self-similar individuations. So when these individuations decentralize their identity to such a degree that they merge with that non-duality, it then enables them to more harmonically, more perfectedly include their costume, their unique firework. From a place of no lack, from a place of pure love, from a place of pure coherence, from a place of pure clarity, from a place of pure service, pure shepherding the rest of the creation to awaken. That's the game. This is the game that we play. This is how to view individuation and non-duality. This is how to view a very high-level metaphysical concept that is typically completely unable to be explored because there's not enough of an understanding that is polymathic, that is drawn upon enough fields to be able to merge the simultaneity of the non-dual nature with the individuated nature. You have to recognize that those two are ultimately one, which is what is meant by not two. You have to use individuation as a physics, as a mechanism, in order to actually explore infinite possibility. Ultimately, there is one, and it uses individuation as a self-similar mechanism to explore, to play with itself. And this is beautiful when you truly have this anchored in your essence, when you have this anchored in your heart. You know how to both respect the shit out of the decentralized cosmic storm, centerless, at play with itself, and yet also realize the beauty of all of the unique individuations, the unique costumes that are being explored, all those unique fireworks that are all discussing and at play with themselves, trying to figure out, who are we truly? What are we doing here? How to maximize our potential? And that's how the mechanism works. That's how the physics works. Absolute infinity undergoes a process of wanting to explore a possibility. It manifests a universe. It then immerses itself in the process of fractaling out as these self-similar individuals in order to undergo a process of exploring a sleepening followed by awakening to its true nature. Repeatedly, as different universes, using different designs, using different costumes, using different vehicles. And it'll never come to the end of its infinite exploration. It'll never come to the end. It's absolutely boundless. There are no limits. And this is but a manifestation of that infinite potential. Boom. Cool. I hope this was valuable and resonant. And I would love to hear where you're at with understanding this in the comments below. And if the video brought you value, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Share the video with other people that you feel like this would be resonant for. And that's all. Infinite love. Thank you.